YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming back at y'all with another collective energy read, another YouTube read. I hope that camera angle is straight. I'm using my other side of my phone. My iPad's BSing right now, but malfunctions may be significant, redirections may be significant, technological malfunctions may be significant. But energy is timeless. Remember to take what resonates and leave the motherfucking rest. I appreciate all likes, comments, shares, and subscribe. Every single new subscriber. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Welcome to the team. If this finds you, just know there's probably some message that's significant to your intuition, confirming back to you in translation. Without further ado, I got memberships going on. If you're interested and you want to join, my subscriptions, my special YouTube members, I'm gonna have special members only videos. There's different perks that come with each tier. You can check those things out below. I think there's a join button in some way, shape, or form. But without further ado, let's go and get started. Angels of the highest white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages from my divine collective, and please remove any distortions, any interruptions in any way, shape, or form from out of my energy field. Thank you, and Ashe. With the magician energy, people are viewing you in this way. There's a significance on your alchemy. There's a significance on you transmuting and transcending a situation with your god or goddess energy followed out. There's empowerment, or there's a sense of you seeing the higher perspective of a situation esoterically in terms of what it means to you, in terms of the significance on it to prevail through it. That's for a few people. But I think for a few others, this is just a reminder of what your ability is. And you're an alchemist. You transmute, transcend situations. No weapon formed against you will prosper. It's just a confirmation in terms of the fear. This is for a couple of people in my collective tapped into this energy read that may be dealing with some sense of fear amidst the unknown is what I'm getting. With Nine of Swords, you may be in a sense of anxiety, hopelessness, or maybe this is what's being projected at you. Maybe that's an illusion, but this is something for you to transmute. Even for a few people, there's a couple of people that are actually in this state of energy, but you need to be able to transmute it. And I'm just saying the word, right? But how do we do this? There's a need for alchemy. How do we do that? It's a co-creation. We need to understand what alchemy is. It's a co-creation. It's changing something from one state to another. So what I'm signifying that with an energetic state of being, we're transmuting a state of hopelessness into a state of hopefulness, right? And how do we do that? We don't just tell ourselves that. We have to really ground it into understanding and knowing that, right? And so where do we start? We can start by grounding. We can start by releasing what does not align with that. We can start by, we can simply begin by affirming what exactly is that, right? With defeating a whole city coming up against you, or you defeated a whole city coming up against you, I think this signifies you defied odds against you. This is a significant message for somebody with odds stacked against them, seemingly. Maybe the odds are yourself. Maybe the odds are every doubt that you had. Maybe every single person around you that they had for you. Maybe the doubt, whatever that odd is, it's an interpretation of an odd. Because in a logical sense, of course, we can look at this on an analytical level. A bee may be significant as a bee is flying over my foot. But we can look at this from an analytical perspective, and we can really we can dim and dumb our own faith down by looking at the, analytical, logical perspective of what it seems that we can do based on what accumulation of what past history tells us and what other people can do and can't do, right? But this is significant for somebody that's doing something that maybe you can do it. Maybe it's something that only you can do it. Or maybe it's something only you can do it in that way. Maybe it's just a reminder of why you're doing it. Maybe it's the reminder of why in which you do it and what in which you're doing that maybe you don't even understand. A bee is really trying to fly over me right now. He is not playing with me. With the Ten of Pentacles, there's a sense of legacy that you're creating, or there's a sense of a milestone that you're going to achieve through such actions. With evil will, family members and friends may be significant. I wonder if that's the fear that I'm picking up on in the collective energy. Maybe that fear is what they think about you. Maybe the fear is how they talking about you. Maybe they not talking about you. Maybe this is for some people that you ain't even taking the step yet. And maybe you even perceiving what they thinking about you ahead of the step. And I guarantee you that, like I said in the previous read, when you don't take that step, nothing's going to happen. I promise you. And everything that they said about you, it starts to become what we would deem as true in relativity to what we had in goal or vision for ourselves, right? The less we take those actions, the less steps we take, the less belief that we have, the more and more they become right. The more and more that version of you becomes right. The more and more that environmental standard of you becomes right. The more and more that standard of whoever before you becomes right. The more and more of that prediction of these other people around you become right. You're validating it. And it's just a reminder for somebody to transcend and transmute it. We start by going at it by its head. You go at the fear. It's an energy, and it takes time. It's not the thing that you're gonna get first time. It's the thing that may knock you back on your ass the first time you go at it, but you need to go at it. The obsession over you is a compliment, not an insecurity to be ashamed of. To be able to be still within yourself amidst attention, to be able to be still amidst yourself amidst bad attention, bad intentions. It doesn't have to be, you see, I'm by myself. It can still be energy thrown at you. To be still within yourself amidst controversy, to be still amidst yourself amidst walking your truth, to be still. You were selected and crowned by your ancestors from the jump. There is a significance on what it is that you have been bestowed upon in terms of the insight, revelation, in terms of the goal, mission, set aside for you, and maybe it's not presided upon the others around you. And when I say presided, maybe it's not presided in terms of transparency. With the high priestess energy, maybe it's something only you know. But this also speaks to your intuitive knowing in terms of what this means for you, in terms of what that relativity means, in terms of old thought patterns, other people's thought patterns, other people's beliefs, your own beliefs logically that don't co-align with this mission, that don't co-align with what you're here to do. There is a significance on that. There is a significance on highlighting, prioritizing what the weak link is in your own thoughts. Weak link is in terms of your own support system. With the Four of Pentacles, where you're guarded over your own outcomes, where you're controlling and trying to, even this is a whole different message. Sometimes we can have a finite, controlled sense of ourselves or a sense of our reality to where we won't make the action outside of that jurisdiction of what that means for whatever we put in stronghold over the belief over that said reality. So, besides the fanciness, right? Sometimes we can limit ourselves with putting a expectation of how outcomes or self is supposed to be perceived, or situation is supposed to be perceived, or even supposed to end up, right? And it can have us into such a limited, stagnated plane of energy that we can sometimes, either blame outside of us, blame on the Most High, blame on ourselves, even in a very shameful way. But this is for a message to, in terms of the alchemy, in terms of the energy, pulling that power back, that energy, that blame. You're giving the blame, the energy, what you perceive to be just, or some type of like our ego minds can sometimes give excuses. Sometimes we can give that ownership or power unconsciously to a certain place, circumstance, person that we're not understanding, that we continuously keep giving it to, whether it's negative or positive. It's still giving power because you're putting so much predominant energy into it. So with the Two of Swords energy, there's a need for these difficult stalemates or whatever's keeping you in your head amidst decisions, or keep going. This is for people that are, this can be for anybody, really. Your voice is therapeutic. And this is to speak your truth. It's just a voice to be yourself. Something about your voice is supposed to bring truth, enlightenment to others. Something about what you bring in terms of your truth. It doesn't have to be vocally, like I say. It could be just something about you. You illuminate enlightenment in others. With short mail may be significant. Others that try to block God's plan for you will get their karma. Some people are supposed to be resistance points in your path. Some people are supposed to be used as resilience points in terms of if you get knocked down, you get knocked down. But you said you wanted this, you said you wanted that, so we're going to prepare you for it. And you need outward reflections in terms of strengthening you to be able to prepare for it. Shitty or good experiences, right? You take what resonates. It's all energy, but it prepares you for it. So it's a significance on, some people took it too far in terms of they be used as resistance points. They don't know that. But some people think that they have some type of godly power over your life. And sometimes we can internalize, other people trying to, take something from us, go at us. And we can kind of give that situation entanglement, confliction, and doesn't have to be that what I spoke to, but those type of things that denote or connotate such negative experiences. And we can continuously, like I say, manifest these things. And that's just where we got to call our power back. Not only are you a miracle, but a miracle is on its way to you right now. And understanding your power in terms of understanding, for whoever I'm tapped into, it's a miracle that you're even standing in amidst your situation. It's a miracle that you're even breathing peacefully amidst certain things. Whoever I'm tapping into, you've probably been through some things. This ain't gonna be for everybody. With the yellow brick road, there's a thin line. I think from that message, it's a thin line you're walking. It's not gonna be for everybody. It's a thin line that you're supposed to be walking. And you're not supposed to really look behind you, look to the side, you're supposed to keep walking. That's a significant message for somebody. People are in awe of you and shocked by you. Four of Swords, there's a need for restoring one's energy and resting back and rejuvenating yourself amidst situations and not even situations, like thought patterns that drain the shit out of you. And, being able to take your power back and it's about awareness. Being able to check yourself and be like, I'm not giving persistence and empowerment to such heaviness. It's just continuously heavy. And whether you got to speak it out loud, I don't give consent to these dense ass thoughts. Whether you got to pray it, whether you got to meditate on it, whether it's released, whether it's exercise. It's just alchemy, like I'm saying, right? It's an alchemical message. You're going through a spiritual initiation, which is, I think this is a confirmation for somebody that's going through, a lot of turbulence, I'm getting an inward turbulence, whether this was caused outside of you or not. I think there's a more within turbulence than outside. So, or that was caused, that is being needed to alchemize outwardly, with the Nine of Swords in the beginning. Forgiveness is your key to energy flow and ultimate peace. There's a need, you're radiant, for your radiance to even splurge out even more in terms of the energy flowing through and out of your body, in and out of your body. Sometimes that jadedness, the resentment, the anger, the feeling of inadequacy, unjust, or whatever those things that were caused, these things can just block off energy flow. And it's just an awareness thing for somebody. That's where we're being I'm being specified to fixate on that in this one. Isolation may have saved your life. You're revered by many, or there's a sense of respect for yourself that is going to outwardly reflect in others. And that's a specific message for somebody. Your respect for self is going to outwardly reflect in others. People can only respect you as much as you respect yourself. I learned that earlier in my life. That's a big message for somebody. So people want a destiny swap with you. I'm gonna wait on that. With the Eight of Swords energy, people want you in your head. People also, this goes back to the message from earlier. Like, people want you in your head because people kind of benefit off of you. This goes back to a message I said in a previous reading. People can benefit off of you being in a certain belief or state of belief, or maybe a belief that they have for you, that can put you in a certain state, or there's something about your disempowered state that makes it easier for people to play in your energy, basically. Because the message from earlier, I was going to say some grand all, like, be all kind of, like, statement with that, but, like, it was really simple. Like, people want you in a more disempowered, like, that's also a message. So, like, you giving into that energy is more detrimental for you than it ever will be for, those that are sending the energy. I guess this is just a perception for your alchemy, you know what I mean? You would think this is obvious, but certain things is for your energy. I mean, for your understanding on a soul level in terms of how energy goes back and forth. People want you, or like, not to even push that. Let's not even do that. Let's not even put attention to that like that. It's like more so, it's more so a there's a sense of like, you're right on track. There's a sense of you not questioning yourself, like almost like I just sat there and almost like I got some channel messages, but I just didn't want to. I didn't feel like that was a line, but like, you're right on track, and that was almost a confirmation for me. But maybe even staying stuck on certain things, like I was even being stuck on that. I spent too much fucking time on that, and I'm probably not gonna cut that out of the video because I don't want it to. I think that should show something in itself. We spend too much time on that. Somebody that may be significant spent too much time on that. You know, a hidden betrayal may be significant. So like, spending too much time on that, and that can be easy to say when you feel a certain way, but spending too much time on it, spending too much, energy on it, your life force is gonna get drained from that shit. There's life somewhere else. There's life in other people's, I was getting other people's arms for somebody, so a romantic betrayal may be significant. There's life, but there's life elsewhere, outside of that workplace, outside of that friend group, outside of that household, outside of that family environment. There's family somewhere else. There's friends somewhere else. That's a significant message for somebody. I'm picking up on a very, like, that's where the trauma is. Open up your mind to the highest outcomes. They're already there. So needing to go within and go towards those hurts, for somebody specifically, about certain betrayal, certain, outcomes in your life that don't resonate with what you want for your life going forward. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you learn the lesson. There's a need. The full energy was trying to come out, but I ain't even gonna take it. But vampires need your validation to even be a vampire. So there's a need, don't give so much power outside of yourself. And, it goes back to the general theme of my alchemical message to begin with. We're speaking of alchemy. I just gave a lot of energy, a lot more energy than I would have liked to the ideal of somebody wanting you disempowered so that they can whatever, right? So somebody's narrative can stay the same, so that whatever can stay in place, somebody's system can stay in place, some sense of comfortability, some structure that was known to be can stay in place. So with that being said, somebody I'm speaking to, you're meant to not disempower, your empowerment may disempower what was known to be. Your empowerment may change what was known to be. When I say disempower, it doesn't mean destroy, but destroy could be indirectly. It doesn't mean you're destroying. It doesn't mean that. But that could be the systematic, for some people, whether it's a family dynamic, whether that's whatever, amidst a reputation thing. There could be so many different things, but something you're doing is also meant to break something, which has got to be why there's so much spiritual warfare in terms of you even being down and bad on yourself. Your star energy, what I'm getting from that energy, I think people want you to not view yourself in your highest light. Obviously, there's a significance on that. So affirmation is significance, affirming oneself and continuously, showing the fuck up. As continuously showing the fuck up in your new experiences that you're opening up for yourself. So continuously showing up as if they're already there. Continuously showing up as if you're, the pot at the end of the rainbow is already there, so to speak. Continuously moving forward toward it as if it's already there as a manifestational, what do you call that trick? To aligning you quicker because it already is there on a quantum level, right? With the Empress in reverse, there's some significance about people trying to control your outlooks of self at this time. So psychologically, with pity parties, people want you to be guilty. People want you to feel shameful, and people either feel guilty or shameful about things with you. But, a lot of projection, swapping energies, a lot of emotional projections at this time, especially at this day and age, because people are spiritually becoming more and more awakened, whether they stay aligned in their beliefs or not, you know, that was known to be before or not. People are more and more aware now, spiritually and energetically, than we ever were. So let's kind of like be able to take your energy back and know what's your energy and know it's not. I think that's the general point of this message. Even for me, you know, tapping into this energy, this was weird energy. I'm not gonna lie, this was very weird. And I'm talking to, you know, a group of people that may be going through a lot of psychological warfare in terms of people that are trying to, or outside circumstances. Even if you're transforming, even if you're ascending, even if you're changing from a different version of yourself, there's old psychological versions of yourself in terms of their thought patterns that are coming back to you. So, you know, you vibrate on a high frequency, there's a need to stay in a high vibration amidst a lot of distorted energy that's coming at whoever I'm tapping into. With the Six of Swords energy, you're transitioning from I think this is a transition in itself, from a state of consciousness to another, or a form of version of yourself to another, so to speak. I think this is more of an ascension, spiritual alignment message. You're a success story. So there's a need for you, you know, in being able to take in the moves on the chessboard, being able to take in the energy around you, being able to take in what's thrown at you, being able to take in what's within you still that you may need to still take care of. You know what I'm saying? And making your movements from there, being able to turn it from there, turn your thoughts, turn your decisions, your actions. It starts in the moment. It really does. And I'm just your confirmation and reminder for, you know, you affirming and continuously keep on going toward that affirmed path that you set out for yourself. That's my last message for you. If you need a personal with me, hit up Shamika-san with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. All likes, comments, shares, and subscribes are so very appreciated. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Just getting these reads out. I got some personals to do. Appreciate y'all, my personals to all my few, you know. I appreciate y'all being graceful and patient with me. You know, I've been having to take care of some things, but I haven't had, like, not the, you know, the time kind of pockets for me to get all my personals recently. So I'm thankful for the time pockets that I'm able to get right now to get out my personals. So without further ado, I think I'm gonna end y'all off with that one. You know, being able to stay graceful and knowing what's not your energy. This was very weird energy. Like, knowing what's not your energy, knowing what is your energy, knowing what, you know, what you can do in the moment right now, what you can think in the moment, what you can even, like, affirming yourself. You know, when a bad thought comes up, turning that into something, you know, affirming over that thought with something that's the opposite of that bad thought. It does wonders. It's my last message, but it's your boy Justice. Peace out, y'all.